That's the jam. Coming in hot with the beats and coming in hot with the content as well. This is it. This is the moment you were waiting for, ladies and gentlemen. It is crunch time. It is sponsored by Fanduel, and it is, no debate, the best show in all the lands. That's what I've heard from literally everyone. That's just the word on the street. Means, how you doing, man?
So old school, Roth. Just you and me tonight, huh?
Two-man booth. We used to just get into some shenanigans, the two-man booths.
Yeah.
Ooh. But
like 5 years ago.
It's been a minute, man.
Yeah.
The irony is that for the two-man, I feel like you maybe almost need another person because like you got to have more things to say and more ways to chop it up. But oh well.
Can I give you my mental run through when the three-man booth was broached to me?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah, it's like, so there. I don't remember who it was at the time. Like, yeah, we're thinking about adding some more people into the Crunch Time show. How you feel about that? I was like, forward facing. I was like, yeah, let's do it. Yeah, sure. And mentally, it's like, get off my corner, man, get off my corner. and then like literally once the very first show, I was like, this is great. I love a three-man booth because I have time.
Before you had to do literally everything, and when things were breaking, had to change your own lineup. Now you get a little bit of cushion. Not this particular show.
I'm like, Roth, talk to the other person. I have something to do. Give me 2 minutes.
It is kind of nice, though, honestly, to take time when things break for me to be able to talk to someone else so that you can think things out without having to talk through it.
Yeah, because you do not like dead airtime. You're a TV pro. Dead airtime is wasted airtime.
Yeah.
And so when stuff is hitting the fan, Roth is firing questions.
It's true.
And so sometimes I like those questions be fired at someone else.
Right. It is nice. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens today, Means, because it is, as you mentioned, just you and I kicking it old school. Welcome, everybody. I didn't read my promo yet. I should have had it pulled up, and I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So, a good thing my boss isn't watching. Oh, wait, it's you. All right. Hey, guess what? Right. Sign up for the FanDuel Sportsbook if you're in a legal sports betting state. Take advantage of their fantastic bonus offer. You bet $5, get $150 in free bets, and a free 3-month pass to NBA League Pass, which I desperately need. Terms and conditions do apply.
I still haven't got my email yet.
Your email about League Pass?
Like you do that thing, you do the $5 thing, and then they send you an email, like doing your three free months. I've been holding out, so I haven't got it yet.
Okay. Well,
maybe I sent it wrong.
We know who to talk to. They sponsor the show, so we should be able to get that figured out. Means, how we feeling about this slate? We had a 2-gamer and then a massive slate, and now we're back to a nothing.
Yeah, and then we'll rinse repeat tomorrow. So yeah, I mean, it's one of I'd much rather just like talk about the basketball aspect of all this stuff as opposed to like a 2-game DFS slate. But there's huge prizes out there, man. So we got to give the people what they want. It's weird because we have 2 teams playing who we have some sort of understanding of what they're doing just because they played a game on Tuesday. And then the other 2 teams, it's their first game of the season. And at least one of those teams, I mean, they haven't had, and the Clippers, they haven't had their full allotment of players with this new roster. And I mean, basically ever, but like, when was the last time Kawhi and PG played together? I think it was like 2 playoffs ago or something. So
right.
Some unknowns there and some weird stuff going around with Kawhi that, we had him projected for 30 minutes in the early run this morning. Then they're saying they might bring him off the bench, which I've actually slowly come around to liking. Like I remember when KD came back, it's either last year or 2 years ago, and he didn't play the first half and everyone's like, what in the world's going on? But then they like gave him his like 18 minutes or whatever in the second half. So he could like play like the most meaningful part of the game. So he could be out there for closing. I thought it was kind of genius. So like, that's kind of a new thing. So don't be alarmed if you hear he's not starting, because that's already been going around, but at his price tag and like our new minutes projection, like 28, I mean, it's going to be tough to pay that off with what the news is surrounding him, but we'll get there.
But I mean, do be alarmed if he's not starting. Like,
because
he's not going to get the minutes. The bottom line is, if he doesn't start, he's not going to get 30+ minutes.
He's definitely. Even if he does start, I would be shocked if he gets 30+ minutes. So, I think that ship has sailed for the first maybe week or 2 of the season. So, yeah.
All right.
You all good on the share screen over there, Rob?
I think I screwed it up totally, and you know what? That's basically what I expected to happen. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying to share things.
How about here's what we're gonna do, Rob. I'm gonna do it.
No, I think I got it.
You got
I
it?
think
All
I
right.
did it. Yeah, I think I did it. See that? But hey, you know what? People aren't here for our back and forth, our camaraderie,
They're not?
our wonderful. That's what I hear. I don't know. Maybe they are. But just the fact that we're best buds aside, we got to talk about this slate, Means.
Yeah. And these will be two good games, I hope. Obviously, a lot of prominent names here. So, like we normally do, we'll go through.
Do the Lakers just suck, though? Like, did the Lakers just suck?
I have two things to say about that. Then we'll talk DFS. Okay. The first is I saw something on Twitter maybe a week or two ago, and it was a list of all of the players that have not signed with a team that were on the Lakers last year and played like X amount of minutes. Like, remember like Wayne Ellington and like Trevor Ariza and all these dudes, and they were like 4th in minutes, 6th in minutes, 7th in minutes on the Lakers last year, and no one has signed them. So like that shows you just how close to basically not being an NBA player they were, and they were main rotation players. And then the second thing is that how about LeBron just like throwing his teammates under the bus already after the first game? He was like, I think someone was asking him about their outside shooting. And he's like, I mean, that maybe the other team wants us to shoot those. It's not like we have a bunch of lasers on our team or something like that. Like, okay.
Brutal. Like, right, game one.
There we go.
Yeah, going to be a long season there. But all right, let's break down this slate here. I do have the Fanduel pulled up right now. This is, by the way, our lineup HQ. If you don't have that, you should sign up for RotoGrinders Premium. It's literally the best tool in the biz. But Means, why don't you talk us through your thoughts on Fanduel?
Some good-looking dudes on those expert play filters, by the way. All right. I have 3 guys tagged on Fanduel. 2 studs, Giannis and Embiid, and then DeAnthony Melton, which might as well just be DeAnthony Melton and Grayson Allen, just because we have two games and you have to play cheap guys, and these are the cheap guys. So I'm not going to sit here and try to sell you on why those guys are good plays, but that's just the nature of the beast. So like guard, who you're playing with Melton, who has point guard and shooting guard, like I said, I would just be putting Grayson Allen in like that shooting guard spot. And then probably, like, here's the thing. Just the way the positions work out, Giannis and Embiid are like the best ones. And since those guys are forward and one of them center, you're going to be forced to go cheap for a lot of these guard positions. So we're talking about obviously Melton, obviously Grayson Allen. Then you have like Kendrick Nunn, Lonnie Walker. Those guys are popping up a lot because I like going cheap here at guard if possible. If you're going to spin here, it's going to be for Paul George at probably shooting guard or small forward. And that's one of the main decision points on FanDuel is who the next guy you're spending up on is. Because I don't think it's LeBron for me on FanDuel. I've talked about this a lot, and I feel like it's worth pointing out now just because we have a little bit of time. But like LeBron's 10-8 or 10 10-8 on FanDuel. He had a really good game on Tuesday. He only had like 54 FanDuel points, which is, only in quotes. That's okay. But for 10-8, you're like, that's fine. But then you look at DK, he's like in the low 9s, and he had like 61 DK points. He has always been just such a better DK player because of their scoring system. They have the bonuses. It's always like that for stars. Like they have bonuses and they dock you less for turnovers. Mm-hmm. And the fact that he's just so much cheaper over there, I have him tagged as a core player over there. But here, he's just not like, he's an awesome tournament pivot on a 2-game slate at 29% ownership. It was what I'm seeing, at least most recent on a 2-game slate. But your next spin for me, I guess is my roundabout way of saying, my next spin for me, if you are playing cash games, is going to be AD or Paul George. I kind of like AD. Just the way the positional stuff works out, just kind of like the cheaper stuff at the guard as opposed to the forward. So generally speaking, that's what you're going to do at the guards. Forward, I've already mentioned a couple of them, like with spin ups with Giannis and AD. Tobias Harris is just popping up, but I like him a little bit more on DK where he's cheaper. Bobby Portis is probably the guy I would like to jam in at one of those power forward slots. He's only 5'8". Haven't seen if he's starting yet or not. Here we go. He's Oh, they're starting Javon Carter. Interesting. He might pop as a little cheapy on DK. Let's see if our projections have updated for that yet. I think they have. I want to see what this is actually a good hit. Yeah, you already got a good route. You already got that refresh. I want to see. Mainly, I'm going to look at. He's probably going to matter more on DK. I want to see what we brought our Javon Carter. We brought him to 23. Yeah, he's probably. See what his DK projection is. He's probably going to be something to consider, at least just on DK, because the cheap stuff isn't as great over there. Yeah, not great over there. So, all right, back to FanDuel. Anyways, what I'm saying about Portis, even if he's coming off the bench, which he is, he's basically, he's going to play probably third or fourth most minutes on the team tonight, even coming off the bench. So don't worry about the fact that that's the case. He's going to play a lot, and he's probably going to play, I don't know, like high 20s, low 30s minutes. So I do still like him for cash games if you're playing if you're playing those tonight. And then center, not much to talk about just because there's only like a handful of guys you can even roster at center, and some of them have power forward eligibility. I think if you're playing an optimal lineup tonight, you're playing Embiid. And then for tournaments at center, like I think automatically playing one of these cheap guys is going to make you different, because even if people aren't playing Embiid, maybe they just go down to AD and put him at center instead.
Right.
So like going Zubats or Brook Lopez, like it's automatically going to make you different. Like playing one of those guys in like a LeBron lineup, like maybe do like a mini late game stack with like a Zubats, a Paul George, and a LeBron. That's automatically going to make you different, in my opinion, than playing like an Embiid Giannis lineup. And that's one of those things where you're not like going far off the radar too. Like Zubats is 12% projected ownership on FanDuel. That's a 2-game slate, and he's a starter. Right. Like that's where you don't have to get too cute. You just have to be mindful of what you're doing in your other spots. So like you don't have to say, "Oh, I'm going to play Montrezl Harrell tonight." Like, could Montrezl Harrell have a slate winning performance night? I mean, like 2 out of 100, maybe. I don't know. Like he's backing up Embiid, so like, they even have someone else that they could play. So like he's only playing backup center minutes. Maybe like Embiid gets in foul trouble, so I'm sure. But like those are the type of things you need to look at, that you just don't have to go like crazy off the radar to like still build a competitive lineup on such a small slate.
Okay, good stuff. Let's kick it over to DK here. I'll swap over my screen share. You mentioned some differences already, but kind of walk me through where you're starting there on DK.
Yeah, so like we talked about him on Tuesday, and Tyrese Maxey, just far cheaper on DK than he is on FanDuel. I think he's in like the low to mid sixes on FanDuel, and he's only 5.2 on DK. He was 5K on Tuesday. I think he had like 29 DK points. Played 37 minutes or whatever. So like just same thing tonight. Just it's too cheap. So you plug him in first. And I don't know if I'm in the minority on this one, but just because Giannis is projecting so well, if I'm building a cash game lineup tonight, I want my next person to be LeBron James. Now, Giannis would probably be like my third person, but you got a problem, Roth? I know you're such a Giannis lover. So
well, you just said like because Giannis is projecting so well, the next guy I want to plug in is LeBron James, and it confused the hell out of me.
Yeah, just because like Giannis's projection is high, and it's basically 60 DK points, and that's really good for 10-7. But LeBron's $1,400 cheaper, and LeBron just had 60 DK points too. So and like I'm saying, if I'm doing this, I'm putting in LeBron, then I'm putting in Giannis. So like,
okay,
I like all of it. But I'm just saying,
see.
for terms of priority for me, I'm putting in LeBron first, then I'm putting in Giannis. Some people, I just like phrasing it like that, because if some people are uncertain about like where they stand on somebody, maybe the fact that I say I like LeBron more, and they're like, okay, well I wanted to play Embiid instead of Giannis anyways, or something like that. So I would still play those would be my starting points: a Maxey, LeBron, Giannis lineup.
Those are not cheap starting points, other than
no, they're not. And then we're gonna start. Yeah, what is that? Put in the Giannis there. What does that leave you at? For your. I'm doing it on my end too. It's,
I got you. It's leaves you with
5K
4.9. a little under 5K.
Okay, so let's try to fit some other guys in here. So like Maxi's only point guard eligible. So let's look at some shooting guards. We're going to talk about similar guys that we talked about over on Fanduel, and like one is going to be Patrick Beverley. He's 4-1. Pulling up his game log here a second over on my side. He played. I know he got in foul trouble, so I want to see. He only played 24 minutes. Yeah, he did get in foul trouble, so keep that in mind. We have him at 26. You could maybe even tack on a few more if you'd like. Another guy who's much better priced on DK than FanDuel, so he would be one. And then you have these cheap guys, Melton and Nunn. Probably one of those guys are going into your shooting guard spot, and maybe even like a Grayson Allen could be considered too. A little more expensive on DK though. So I would for sure be going cheap, because you're just in this build, you're just not getting a Harden or a Paul George. So it's just kind of off the table if you're going the way I'm going. So I put in one of those cheapies. Let's say I'll put in like Beverly just for sake of the example. So then you get to, I'll look at power forward first because Giannis has center eligibility. And honestly, you can move these guys a bunch of different ways. You can go like LeBron power forward, Giannis center, and then you can kind of look at small forward too. So actually, I'm going to do that first, because we could do that and we'll just work our way through the list here. I mentioned Tobias Harris over on FanDuel. He's only 5'5" on DK. The price is fine. Like he's like fourth in the pecking order now for scoring, but he plays a ton of minutes. He can score. I think he took 14 shots last game. Didn't rebound a lot. I think that was just kind of a small sample size sort of thing. I think he only had 2 boards. Still finished with a pretty decent box score, especially for this kind of price tag. So if you can fit him, he'd be one guy. If you need to go cheaper, you have like a Lonnie Walker at 4-1. He'd probably be the only other guy I'd consider for like a main build. So then going over to power forward, obviously the 2 main guys that I've mentioned have power forward eligibility. So you can move those guys around if you want. We mentioned Bobby Portis on FanDuel. I think he's an option here. Maybe PJ Tucker is like a very last piece, only a guy we're talking about because it's a 2-game slate and we need to find something cheap, but literally only if it's a last piece for my liking. And then center, a couple of these guys have like Giannis has it, Portis has it, maybe Brolo. He's only 4'8". You got to think they want to get as many minutes as they can out of him, because for one, they're missing basically like 2 or 3 guys from their main rotation, like Middleton and Connaughton are out. 2, they're obviously going up against Embiid, and you want to keep Giannis away from him as much as possible. Like, obviously, if Giannis had to, he could guard him, probably as good as anybody in the league. But that's just not something you want to make a habit of for someone who carries such an offensive load like Giannis. So we have Brook Lopez at 20 minutes. I could see him getting in the 30s if he stays out of foul trouble and if he can play that much. So I think he's perfectly fine for cash games. But that just goes back to this basically how I started, like all those cheapies at guard. Like that's kind of where we're looking, like the Meltons, the Kendrick Nunns, the Beverleys. Like that's who you're playing to fit these other guys, but you want to get at least 2 studs for your main build, in my opinion. And so it would be LeBron first for me, then Giannis. If you're not doing one of those guys, I think AD would be my next one. He has a really good price tag on DraftKings as well, 8.6. So that's what I'd be doing for any main builds. You want me to just talk through a little tournament stuff before we do questions, or what?
Yeah, I think we should, because there are some stars that we barely talked about, like Harden, PG. And when I looked at that cash build, the ownership is just absurd, which it's a 2-game slate. It's a cash build. It should be absurd. But where are you looking to try to get different? Is it spending up, or is it with some cheapies?
So let's talk about DK since we're on here. So Giannis is the 4th. I'm seeing him with the 4th highest projected ownership. So let's say you want to make a non-Giannis lineup. Drew Holiday should be the first person you put in your lineup, because if Giannis is just okay and this game is anywhere close to competitive, it's got to be like Drew or Portis. They just won't have options. So and he's only 7.9 on DK. Decently high ownership, but still 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like 9th highest owned guy. And you build in a little leverage by not playing Giannis. So that would be one. Maxey. So he's the highest owned guy in DK. Play Harden. Because like Harden's 30%. So now you're already just getting away from a lot of this chalk and you're not having to go too far off the board here. So that would be one. Like if you're doing like man, even on a 2 games, I'm trying to think how I want to phrase the LeBron AD thing because they're so cheap on DK. But basically what I'd say is if you're playing LeBron and AD, I would play a bunch of Clippers with them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would hope that game just gets wonky. Maybe you get an overtime. Maybe it just plays faster than anybody's projecting, more possessions, better efficiency. It's like if you want to play both of those Lakers, I would like play PG. I would not play Giannis. I would not play Embiid because you probably can't afford it. But I would like try to game stack the hell out of that if you're going to play both of them because those guys are projecting pretty close in ownership. So those are a few things. Trying to look down here at some of the cheaper stuff. Yeah, like PG at 30% on DK. That's a really low ownership number for a 2-game slate for a guy who probably can get you like, I don't know, like 55 or 60 on a good night based on the way their roster is shaping up with uncertainty on Kawhi. I talked about like the center. I'll go back to center on DK too, just kind of like I talked about on FanDuel, but like Zubats is 16%. Like, oh, well, here's a good one for you. I have a good one. Here, you ready? This is, hold on. Let me grab. Got my tournament hat on.
Oh, yeah. But yeah. All right. Let's hear it.
Robert Covington. So we haven't projected for 20 minutes. He has projected for 2% ownership. Like, I'm going to pull up. Yeah. See, now I kind of wish I was sharing screen. I'm going to go up. I'm pulling up our lineups page just to kind of talk through their roster real quick. But like, Ty Lue basically never likes closing with Zubats. He plays his normal first half rotation, plays his normal third quarter rotation. Then it's rare that he closes with them. So you have, and who knows with Kawhi, but like basically what I'm saying is they're going to have this spot at the 5. It could be Batum one night. It could be Covington one night. It could be Zubats one night. It could be Marcus Morris one night. But like if it's the night that it's Covington and he's playing, like we have him at 20 minutes, if he plays 29 minutes, and if he's a big stocks guy, so if he hits a lot of blocks, hits a lot of steals, hits a lot of threes, like you could be looking at like 35 DK points, maybe 30, like at 2% ownership and like 4-4. You'll take that on a 2-game slate, like especially if all these other 4K crappers kind of just like get 18 or 22. So,
and in theory, the reason he would be closing is because he's already having a good game, like he's playing well, and they're like, we're going to ride.
Yep, a little bit, or just, who knows with Lou, but it's just I think he's going to kind of just feel it. I think actually, to put it simply, I think you are right when you say that because Lou's probably just going to feel it out during the game, and if he thinks Covington's playing well, he's like, well, I'm going to ride you. I'm going to ride you to the. I'm going to let you close it out in the 4th. Maybe he plays like the whole 4th or something. So yeah, who knows what he's going to do? But like those are the things you should look for when you're looking for lower owned stuff, especially on small slates, because you have a guy who could literally play 30 minutes and he's 2% owned. So like that's realistic, basically.
Yeah. Okay. I like it. Let's talk Harden real fast, right? Didn't he ball out his first game?
Did ball out. Yep.
He's not too crazy expensive, is he?
Yeah. A couple things I'll note. He's not. He looked good. Like I'm pretty sure I talked about him a lot on Tuesday, by the way.
Yeah. For summer body Harden now, man. He's svelte. He got the Meansy training program, man.
I'm not even gonna get started when professional athletes are like talking about how they worked out in the off season to like get ready for their. That's literally what you're supposed to do. Right. But yeah, so his box score looks good for obvious reasons. Got to the foul line like 12 times. His shooting, like he shot above he had like a 90% true shooting percentage, which is like probably gonna be one of his best ones of the year. So
yeah,
but he had 8 rebounds, 7 assists. Like he obviously played well, but like remember we're looking at other things than just the last game when we like put in projections and whatnot. It's like all of that stuff's factored in. So the fact that he's still showing low ownership is good. This is one of those things where like this is one of those teams that we just saw play the other night. So are people going to like weigh that heavier in their minds than like I haven't seen PG yet this year, so I'm just going to play Harden. It's tough to gauge that when you're doing like projected ownership.
Yeah. All right. Hey, we've got about 3-4 minutes here until lock. You want to take some QQs?
Let's do it.
All right. Jumping into the RG Discord. If you're not in it, you should be. Go ahead, get in there. NBA Crunch Time chat. Let's see. I got Hey Beer Man. He says DK Cash means Portis and Jay Carter or Nunn and Brolo.
That was DK Cash?
It was.
Hit me with that again. I'm guessing it's going to be the Carter one.
It was Portis and Carter or Nunn Brolo.
Yeah, I would probably do the first one. And now that I think about it, I jumped to him when we were on Fanduel, and I didn't mention him on DK, Javon Carter, since he's starting. But like a min salary on DK like that means way more than it does on Fanduel. So like, I didn't really. I said it right at the start, but if people maybe tuned in late, I do think you can play Carter in cash games, which helps you get Giannis, helps you get LeBron. It's like, I mean, you're hoping for the dude to like get you like 14 DK points on a slate like this, and you're like, all right, cool. But yeah, I think he's good.
Okay, let's lightning round this. We got 2 minutes. Yep. Gamble Fanduel. You want Melton and Portis or P-Bev and Marcus Morris?
Oh, I would do the Melton one.
Okay. Mike says, what about Marcus Morris as a last piece? He's cheap. He says he's starting, I believe. Any thoughts?
Yes, same. He's just like one of those last piece type of things where he's fine for cash and fine for tournaments. Not going to stand out, though. That wasn't lightning round. Sorry.
Okay. No, that was good. Luke Cage, Batum or Tucker in a DK GPP at the power forward spot?
I would probably go Batum for the same reasons I mentioned about Covington.
Gotcha. Carter popping in optimals. That's who you're just talking about, right? You're fine with him.
Yeah, he's going to pop just because he's 3K, and we like the expensive guys.
Yeah. All right. FanDuel GPP, Drew or PG?
On FanDuel, I would go PG on that one just because Drew's kind of a little more expensive over there.
Okay. DK Cash question from Aside. P-Bev or Lonnie straight up?
I would go P-Bev straight up.
SAS says, yeah, hey, Means, not only did you mention Harden, but either you or Cards talked about Wiggy as well, and it stuck with me, so I used him in 3 of my 3 lineups, won me over 32K. That's the way to start.
Holler. There we go.
That's good stuff.
I don't think Wiggy was me. I'll give Cards that one.
Yeah. SF Bay, DK Cash means Tobias AD or Melton Embiid?
That's that again?
It was DK Cash, Tobias AD or Melton Embiid?
I would do the Tobias AD one.
Very good. D-Rock, DK GPP, Archax or Zubats?
I would go Zubats.
Excellent. Approaching the lock, really kind of got all the questions. Daniel said none PG or P-Bev Kawhi?
Non-Kawhi one, just because I don't know with them.
I just have no idea what's going to happen with them. Like,
yeah, I want to see how he. I mean, even if he plays 20 minutes, I want to see how he looks because he's not played in a while.
He's going to look good.
He's better. He's a robot.
Yeah, he's gonna look good. He's gonna go out there and look like he always does. Let's see here. Almost to the lock, and well, we got all the QQs. If you have any questions, especially early in the season, they can be strategy questions. They can be, hey, Means, what are you having for dinner questions? Fire them this way. And don't forget to smash that like button. Say what?
I think I'm going to have grilled cheese.
Who eats a grilled cheese? You're a grown man. You're just eating a grilled cheese sandwich?
It's a late show.
Wow. Are you making your own grilled cheese, I assume? Or please tell me you're not ordering a grilled cheese from somewhere.
I mean, there are some good ones around here. But no, I'm not making my own. My chef's making it.
Oh, my God. All right, your chef. I'm going to let her know you call her that. And see how that goes. I'm going to let Megan know.
Did you notice how the decibels came down a little bit?
Yeah, yeah. You got to whisper that one. Let's see if we got. Here we go.
I think is there a football show after us? Do we need to hustle?
Oh, yeah, I don't know. We'll hustle anyways because we got all the questions. But FanDuel Cash, none AD or P-Bev and Pandemic P.
That's that one again since we're after luck?
It was none and AD or P-Bev and Pandemic P.
I'll do the first one.
All right. Hey, Beer Man pointing out tomatoes. Grilled cheese is fantastic with tomato soup. It's just there's no protein. There's no like.
When you put bacon on it, there is.
Well, I mean, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
It's just such a weirdly gluttonous thing. It's like I'm going to take bread, I'm going to load it up with cheese, then I'm going to butter it, then I'm going to toast it. It's just really extreme.
What doesn't look gluttonous about me, by the way?
You're svelte these days, man. You've been hitting the
No, I'm
Peloton.
not.
Are you still Pelotoning?
Yeah, just because we have them doesn't mean I like make proper decisions after that.
Yeah. I'm not one to talk as with my 12 beer diet on most nights. So we're in the same boat. All right. Let's see. Okay, a couple quick notes on dinner, and then we're out of here. SAS says, try spicy Cheez-Its mixed in tomato soup. You're welcome.
Wow.
Pretty good.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm not against that. All right, we caught up on all the QQs. We are going to get out of here. Tonight's like the zenith of sports, right? We've got basketball. We've got Thursday night football. There's hockey. There's
playoffs.
golf.
MLB playoffs.
MLB
golf.
playoffs.
Yeah.
Like,
is
it's
there college football
literally
game tonight, I assume?
Yeah, probably.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Why are we on here? Let's go watch sports then.
Exactly. I appreciate you guys watching us when you have all those options. So let's get out here. We'll enjoy whatever your sport du jour is. Get out there and enjoy it, guys. For Mainsy, for our wonderful production team, always working hard behind the scenes. Guys, we appreciate you. We love you. And we will catch you tomorrow. You have been crunched.